He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Whoa. Relax. Welcome back to another episode of the Ministry of Truth. I am your number one host on the show. I am Javi, the hostess with the mostest. What do we got going on today? I got a few news segments that I want to go over for the past 3 or 4 days. Very concerning. That should open up the eyes of many people. Like I've been doing for the past God knows how fucking long. And after that, we have an interview that was conducted last night with Joe Biden and George Stephanopoulos for ABC News. And I guess the Biden administration was like, well, this will probably be a good idea. We need to come back from what we did during the, what the fuck was that called? The debate. Because we fucked up then. So let's do this. So hopefully it makes us look better. I don't know about that, ladies and gentlemen, because it definitely didn't look better. But before we start the show, obviously we gotta burn it down.
We're
up, Yeti? Whatever. Well, that was fun. A little Linkin Park, because you know what? We need to burn this bitch down.
He almost tried
For
to
no
hit
other
me.
reason than other. Because drama. Drama. Everybody's favorite 5-letter word. D-R-A-M-A. See? I can count. Got a little bit of a brain. Unfortunately, some of these motherfuckers in the coming videos obviously don't have a brain. We should call them the fucking scarecrows. First, it's a movie theater manager who no longer has a job after what we are about to witness. I can't remember exactly where this is from. Give me 1 second. Okay, it doesn't say.
Of you guys?
Yes, I am
Hello, Jenna.
6 years old, so I am
How
not
are you
going to
doing?
touch the girls.
How old is she? She's 17. What are you doing?
You're being arrested, sweetie.
On March 31st, 2023, officers responded to a distressing call reporting the sexual assault of an underage employee by the theater manager. During the investigation, officers uncovered a troubling attempt to conceal evidence. The manager, Washanta Gamalath, was caught trying to delete CCTV footage of the incident.
He came walking out, and I went and got in his face, and was like, I know what you did or whatever. And I called the cops, and she's like, what do you mean? And I left. And yeah, he should still, he was right down there. If you go in to the right.
Let me go see if I can find her.
What's going on?
So she was cleaning the break room or something. Came up
Just
and
got
grabbed
promoted.
her, tried to kill
Oh.
Yes, sir.
her. Hey man, so what's going
What
on?
up,
I
Eloy?
don't know, sir, because that girl is working at the, break room. I gave her the job to clean the break room, and after 20 minutes also, she didn't came out, right? She went there with the broom and the dustpan, right? Then I went there, then I checked she's playing with the mobile. Then I charge her. Why, what you are doing here now? It is already 20 minutes, but you didn't clean up and come out, because a lot of, not only the clean the floor and clean the, tabletop, and they have to mop
Always
also.
a good day
But
when
then I
done.
charge her, what you are doing here? Then she asked me, okay, may I go
Now
to the
them
toilet?
alligators.
Then, okay, then I let her to go to the toilet. Then that's all, I don't know. After that, then her father came and charged me, you have touched my daughter.
What do you, when you say charge, what do you mean by that?
That means I asked her, what you are doing here so much time, 25 minutes. So it is 10 minutes job, what you are doing here? Just I asked her.
Okay.
Then she asked, okay, excuse me, can I go to the washroom? Then I told, okay, you can go. Then I don't know. Then I started the rest of the job, start the mopping and everything myself. Then suddenly came that her father, and he almost tried to hit me. You touch my daughter and this and that, all the things.
Are there
I don't
cameras in
think
the
Eloy
break
would
room?
send you.
Huh?
Are there cameras in the break room?
Sorry?
Are there cameras, video
No,
cameras
sir.
in the
No,
break room?
there is no camera in the video room. But the outside is there. The lobby, we can see lobby.
And she was cleaning the break room?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
If you want to see, you can go and see the situation.
Okay.
And there's no cameras in the break room?
No, sir.
Was anybody else in there?
No, sir.
It was just the two of you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know, who do you believe?
Hey, you got an ID somewhere?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. How long has she been working there?
Dude, you see that
How long
horn
was
on
she
his head?
working?
She's maybe nearly 1 year, I think.
1 year?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Has there ever been any issues between the two of you guys?
Never.
What's up, y'all? Do y'all know anything about what's going on with these two?
Because I am very respectful person, sir. I am 60 years old. So I am not going to touch the
Yeti.
girls.
I didn't say your name yet.
I said, do y'all know anything about what's going on with these two?
What do you mean?
The manager and the girl outside?
Oh, she told me that he tried to kiss her.
And there's cameras in the break room?
There is?
Yes.
Oh, he just said it wasn't. He just said it wasn't.
There is. There's a big one, but then she told me it happened in like a corner.
I mean, if there's a camera, who works the cameras?
Our manager.
Which break room was it in?
No, it's down
Can one of y'all show me? So it was in here? Yes, there is. All right. Come on, see if we can figure some things out. And he said management works the cameras? So like him or another manager? We're gonna have to see if we can get him in. Who knows how to work the camera system here?
I know, I can see the cameras.
Okay, well, there's a camera in the break room.
Yes, but it does not work many years. Okay, I can call my GM and I ask.
Yeah, let's see if we can get in touch with him.
It's better, right?
Can you put on speaker for me?
Okay, sure.
Hello?
I know, Rick.
Yeah.
That police officers are here. They asked me that any any camera in the
Can I
break
speak to him?
room.
Can I speak to him?
Yes, we do have a break room cameras.
Hey, Mr. Nuri, am I saying your name right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm well. So apparently there was a situation that may have happened in the break room. We're trying to get everything figured out. I see that there's a camera in the break room.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to come show the footage of that camera or anything?
What are you doing, LARP?
I'm way out, like Highway Atlanta, but my assistant says she's on the way right now.
And she knows how to work the
Anyway,
cameras as well?
Enjoy your
Yes, sir.
Saturday.
Sweet. How
For some
far
reason
out is she?
I can walk you through if you want to. It's very easy.
How far away is she?
She lives like 5 minutes away from she lives in Noonan. 5
Yeah,
minutes away from the theater.
I'd rather just wait till she gets here and let her do it.
I got you. All
Yeah,
right.
that'll work. Thank you.
Okay. She'll be.
Oh, my bad. My fault. All right, so hang out right here for a second. I'm gonna go talk to them again. All right, so I'm gonna need some information from her ID and everything. I got a different manager on the way up here now, so that we can see what happened.
Yep. You told him he can't go in the camera room or whatever.
Well, first off, he tried to tell me they didn't have a camera in the room,
He's definitely
so
like
he's
the
already lost some
background.
credibility with me.
Yes.
Oh, how old is she?
She's 17.
Okay, yeah. So she's saying that she was in the break room cleaning. He came in and I guess tried to grab her and kiss her. Yeah. And so she kind of told him no, ran out the break
What up,
room,
Phoenix?
went
Long
into
time no
the
see.
family bathroom and locked the door and called her dad. The problem I'm having now is he kept trying to say that there was no cameras in the break room. But I went in there and it's clear to see that dome cameras in right there.
Hey, how you doing? Where is the manager, the
He's in
assistant?
the office. Y'all want the key to the office so y'all can go back?
Can you just lead us up there? Why you going to the office now?
Noonan State. Charles.
Hey.
Nora George.
How you doing?
8880.
Check
The
on the
GMC.
camera.
Oh, well, we got somebody on the way to check the camera.
Huh?
That's it. That's what we got somebody on the way to do.
Oh yes.
Hello, gentlemen.
How you doing?
I'm good.
425.
So
Let me talk here.
this dude is the manager who says, I don't have access to cameras. But they go and try to get a hold of the manager, and he's back there viewing the cameras. What are you doing there, buddy? Huh?
All right, you need to take it back a little.
Yeah, can you go back some? Right after you walk.
Got you.
Mr. Wasanta, do me a favor. Go ahead and turn around and put your hands behind your back for me, okay? Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
Okay.
I need your radio and your keys for now, hon.
Yes. What's going on, Tanya?
You're being arrested, sweetie.
What I have done?
For touching her.
I didn't touch her, but I get close to her to charge her like this.
Hey,
No,
Okay.
Lisa,
You
Lisa.
Back up.
can
Okay, I have to call my wife first.
Okay, put your hands behind your back.
Why are you getting in a
give me your wife's number and I'll call her.
teenage face?
My wife is Tanya.
We are being investigated. Everyone's out of their car.
This one?
Yes.
Come on.
Yes, just wait. I have
Christ,
to
go
get a
fucking
call.
fix Johnny 5 or something.
He'll grab your phone when she's done, but you're coming with me.
Hi,
Go.
Mrs. Gamata. I am calling from your husband's phone. He is unfortunately being detained by the Newton Police Department. 1 second, I'm putting you on speaker, ma'am. Okay.
are you there, ma'am? Hello?
Ma'am, are you there?
I'm there.
Hey, how you doing? This is Officer Smiley with the Noonan Police Department. Okay, we have just the same as
Body
what
cam, maybe
Ms.
they'll
Tanya
look
was
for
saying.
them.
There was a complaint earlier, and with that complaint, we ended up looking at some video footage, and also with the assistance of this video footage, your husband, is now being arrested. Okay.
What is it he say?
There was a complaint from a young woman that stated that he made certain advances.
What?
So, as of right now, though, he's going to be going with us, okay?
All right, go ahead and hop in for me.
Because of the culture, the wife probably
We
would
got the video. We did see what happened.
See what happened exactly.
So I know that's your baby girl.
Yeah.
So let's stay cool, okay?
Yeah.
In the video, he does come in the room. He walks up to her. He kind of puts his hand close to her lower back, and then he grabs her face and tries to lean in to kiss her. He's definitely going for
They
the
wouldn't be able to
sexual
find
battery, okay?
Of a minor, too?
Mm.
Is that an additional charge or something? I
They
want
will
to see him get on
not
the
be
sex.
able to find that cocksucker. Hold on. Can't even trust fucking your kids' managers. God damn, my hair is all fucking retarded. Around kids. And it sucks because both of my kids work at a supermarket slash pharmacy. But most of the staff is female, so that's a plus. But a minor, you're lucky dad didn't come to the store and whoop your ass. Because some of us, that's what we like to do. We prefer calm. We prefer calm, peace. Unfortunately, people don't like that.
Amanda.
So I believe this was in Indianapolis. Don't let me lie to you. Let me double check. Because this was 4 days. Yes, I think I went over briefly about this.
Arrested for the sexual assault of a woman and her young child in Indianapolis. CBS 4's Claire Curry has the story tonight. We want to warn you the details of this case are disturbing.
Shortly after returning home from a tire shop, one mother had a knock at her door at around 11:30 a.m.
That's what fucking caught me off guard, because it's not 1 to 3 in the morning like the typical sexual assault happens. This was 11:30 in the morning.
When she answered, she was greeted with a man in a mask holding a gun.
Investigators say 21-year-old Tashawn Gardner then entered the woman's home and sexually assaulted her at gunpoint. According to court docs, he raped her 12-year-old daughter as well. The encounter lasted for around an hour, all recorded on the suspect's cell phone.
This was a horrific act. My heart goes out to the victims of this case.
The two survivors contacted law enforcement within minutes of the suspect leaving.
And we're thankful that they were able to, and willing, and had the courage to come forward and cooperate.
That's the word she used. She didn't say victim.
With the detectives, and it's my understanding that they acted phenomenally, being able to provide information that was critical to being able to identify the person we believe responsible for this act.
Using the victim's description of the suspect vehicle and surveillance footage from neighbors, detectives were able to track down Gardner.
Yeah, technology has been a great tool for us. In this case, we're thankful that we had it as a resource. We're thankful for the people who allow us to use those cameras to identify the person responsible or alleged to be responsible for this incident.
Sometime Saturday, investigators apprehended Gardner during a traffic stop. The survivors were also able to give details about Gardner's tattoos and facial piercings to police.
Yeah, anytime detectives identify a person responsible for a sexual assault, they certainly look to see if that individual was responsible for any other incident.
How long ago was that, Jeff? I think I remember reading about that or watching something about that story. Or it might have been another place.
Now, Gardner is denying these accusations, but he is being charged with 2 felony counts of rape. Reporting on the West Side, Claire Curry, CBS 4 News.
2 counts of rape, 1 count of raping a minor under the age of 16, producing child pornography, possession of child pornography. This dude slam dunk. He recorded the motherfucker. What up, Telly? Good show this morning for the part that I was there. But yeah, this happens all the time. More and more and more, but it's not reported, especially when they don't want to report it because the perpetrator is one of the illegal aliens that's been in this country. Oh, I don't know why I did that.
When you put your
It's not hard to find these things. It's actually really easy. Like to come on, pick up my topic for today, which my topic I picked last night was the Biden interview. But my feed, I see these things every morning. And if you look at the ones I use, they're local stations. Local stations. Oddly enough, none of this makes the world, not worldwide, federal news. Some of these, more people in the world should know about. It's prevalent. Extremely prevalent, and people see it. They see signs and symptoms. Oh, that's not the way I meant to say that. But nobody actually knows what to look for or what to do. What do you do when you see somebody trying to grab a kid at a playground? You spear tackle the motherfucker, and then you curb stomp them. And then you ask questions later. That's the way we do it, right? No? Well, what happens if you are a working parent and you have another working parent and you guys have to work, but you don't have anywhere for your kid to go and you can't watch them at work? So what do? You take them to a daycare. But do you take them to daycares in Michigan? I personally would not take them to this daycare.
Your babies in the care of somebody, you expect them to take care of them the way that you would take care of them yourself. So
Tonight, an active investigation happening in Van Buren County. Deputies say a home-operated daycare may have been the scene of a child abuse and sexual abuse investigation. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jessica Harthorn.
Hi, good evening. I'm Andy Dominiani. The sheriff's office says they've arrested a husband and wife, and they are now both facing multiple charges in this investigation. News Channel 3's Princess Johnny Steverson is live in studio with the latest information on this case. Princess.
That's right, Andy and Jessica. I have been talking with the sheriff's office about this matter all day long, and the alleged sexual misconduct happened at a daycare in Gobles. Officials tell me it all started after they got a tip about such criminal activity from LaGrange, Indiana. The Van Buren County Sheriff's Office is asking you at home to take a good look at these two faces. Married couple Jesse and Stephanie Stone.
They were arraigned today on abuse charges and sexual assault charges.
I sat down with Van Buren County's captain, James Sharon. He says officials are currently looking into possible abuse or neglect allegations within the couple's nursery, Little Cubs Daycare, seen here. It's also where the couple lived.
there was a couple times last year that she really didn't want to go to daycare. Looking back, I wonder if that had anything to do with that.
Remember?
At this time, the daycare's doors are locked.
Didn't want to go to work on set. The kids don't want to go to daycare. Those are really weird signs. Like, how do you ignore those? I mean, I guess it's easy when you don't fucking care. Why can't I get comfortable right now?
You'll see I took a walk around the property, and when walking up the front steps, there's a handwritten note on red paper reading, "Closed until further notice." I spoke to a grandparent about the matter. She wishes to stay anonymous, telling me she has 2 grandkids attending Little Cubs Daycare.
This is quite a shock to all of us with the charges that are put in front of them. So my daughter did have the hard conversation with both the children last night.
Both children say they were never touched inappropriately, though the older of the 2 kids says Stephanie, one of the 2 in custody right now, can be mean. The child recalled a time when going to help a younger kid who was attempting to eat a bottle of diaper rash cream that was left laying out.
She went to help, and Stephanie snapped at her, grabbed her shoulders, shooed her off.
Jesse Stone is currently in Van Buren County's custody. According to court documents, he has been charged with the following 13 charges and is being held on a $750,000 bond.
Our hope is that we can find out if there's any additional victims, because there's a daycare there, and so that we can try to bring some closure to those victims if there are any.
And they've said that.
Jesse's wife, Stephanie, has been charged with the following 3 charges and is being held on a $100,000 bond. Both are expected back in court for a probable cause hearing on July 17th. When we know more, we'll make sure to update you. Reporting.
How about that?
Step 4, new information.
Oh, they're going to be totally safe. Yeah. Home daycares are probably one of the worst. Not saying that all of them are, but I know recently, not real recently, it was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, on post here, we had a couple. One was an active service member, one was a dependent, and the wife was running an in-home daycare. Well, with running that in-home daycare, that mother and husband were taking sexually explicit pictures with the minors, as well as, shit they should have been strung up for. That's a service member and his wife doing his shit on post. Imagine what it's like off post or in the real world. Oh, I don't know. El Paso is a pretty shitty place, especially for the military, because it's in the middle of nowhere. Now, let's say your kid's enrolled in a jiu-jitsu program, and it's something they really want to do, help them fight. self-protect and self-defense. What happens if one of those jujitsu instructors
Information in the case of a local jiu-jitsu instructor charged with sexually assaulting one of his students. 40-year-old Joseph Caballero was arrested Monday and charged with sexual assault of a child. According to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, the victim was 14 years old when the abuse happened. KENS 5's Vanessa Croy has the latest details on the case.
The allegations in this case are disturbing. According to an arrest warrant, Joseph Caballero told the girl's parents that he was in love with her and that he would wait until she was 18 so he could marry her. And not only were the parents okay with that, according to deputies, they never even reported it. On June 14th, the victim's aunt called the Bexar County Sheriff's Office to report the 14-year-old girl was being sexually assaulted by her jiu-jitsu instructor. According to police documents, the sexual abuse happened over 3 months at the end of last year. The victim told deputies that she told her parents about the abuse, and instead of reporting it, they invited Caballero over to the house to talk about the allegations, according to that warrant.
Fucking kidding me? We're going to invite you to the house, and we're just going to talk about it, bro. We know you sexually assaulted our child. But it's okay. We'll talk about it. Hopefully you won't do it again. Because we don't want to get the police involved. Are you gonna give us a discount? All right, what's the deal? What the fuck is wrong with some people? I mean, unless the dad invited him over to beat the fuck out of him, but I still don't think so.
Deputies later learned the victim had been taking classes at the jiu-jitsu school for 9 months. The sheriff says Caballero started grooming his victim, offering to give her a ride home from the jiu-jitsu school and then sexually assaulting her before he took her home. But when investigators interviewed the victim's parents, they told a different story. According to the arrest warrant, the victim's father found a letter Caballero had written to the victim. And when confronted by the parents, Caballero said he only kissed her. Deputies say that's when the parents told investigators they warned Caballero to stay away from their daughter, removed her from the jiu-jitsu school, but never reported the allegations to law enforcement. We asked BCSO if the girl's parents are facing any charges for failing to report the sexual abuse. They could only tell us that additional charges have not been ruled out for anyone involved in the case. Reporting near downtown, Vanessa Croy.
I know I've said this before, but if the parents are like that and they're willingly knowing it's happening without, reporting it, can the parents be charged as an accessory? You ever think about that? Especially since a lot of these instances that I've showed you over the past couple weeks, parents knew. Parents knew. But it was financially beneficial to them. Accessory, bruh. That's all I'm going to say. This one is not so much a CSAM issue. It's a morality issue when over a traffic incident, 2 adult males pull a machete out on a fucking teenager.
Rage incident along Ronald Reagan Highway ends with a 16-year-old attacked with a machete. 2 men are now facing charges for that attack along Colerain Avenue after pulling his car off the highway. WLWT News 5 anchor Lindsay Stone joining us outside the Hamilton County Justice Center with these frightening new details. Lindsay.
Yeah, the 16-year-old's mother told me that her son had just gotten his license back in April, so he's only been driving a few months, and yesterday's incident has left him terrified.
4 guys got out the car and started repeatedly punching me. They only busted my whip. 1 choked me.
911 calls from the 16-year-old driver details the harrowing moments after he says he was attacked by 4 men after a road rage incident in Colerain Township.
So they followed you off of Ronald Reagan into the Walmart parking lot and then attempted to assault you?
No, they did assault me.
I spoke to the 16-year-old victim's mother, who didn't want to talk on camera while waiting for police to arrest all of the men involved. She says her son accidentally cut off a car just before the attack happened.
I was merging lanes for an exit when I accidentally cut some guy off, and he got up on my so I tried to get away to safety, and he followed me to Walmart, got out, 4 of his buddies got out the car, and proceeded to practically jumped me.
The mother says one of the men stabbed her son in the arm and leg with a machete, choked him, and attempted to pull him from the car. She says another man tried to open the passenger door where a 14-year-old girl was screaming for help. The mom says after the attack was over, the men took the boy's shoes and took off. The teens drove to a nearby library and called for help.
And do we know like what kind of vehicle that they were in or anything like that?
Yeah, it was a red Ford.
Police arrested two men, 40-year-old Brian Benjamin and 38-year-old Patrick Tucker. Tucker is charged with felonious assault and aggravated robbery. Benjamin is charged with obstructing official business. It's unclear if police are searching for any additional suspects. We reached out to the Colerain Police Department, but were told they could not comment on an ongoing investigation.
Good times. Good times for all. We all need to go driving. We need to make sure we carry a baseball bat. Oh, you're not going to stab me with a machete inside my vehicle. Promise you that. It's all within arm's length. Or, yeah. In another instance of bad parenting, I should have added this to the one where the jiu-jitsu one, but let's say you're a parent, right? Let's say you're watching someone's kid, right? And you're going somewhere. And you go shopping and you're like, got my cell phone, got my wallet, got my keys. Good. It's going in the story. You know, it's only like 97 degrees outside, making the inside temperature of the car 115. And then you come back and the window's busted and there's an ambulance and a cop. Well, I've seen this happen because I've busted the window. Only to find out there's a child inside there. Or puppy. I've done it for dogs too. But these people are sorry sacks of shit and should not be parents. How the fuck do you forget you have a kid in the backseat of a car? That I don't understand.
We began an investigation on the death of a child from a hot car incident. My only role today really is to extend our sympathies to the family and the friends and the neighbors and all those who are affected by this tragedy. My only other message to the community right now is that we need some time to sort this out before we really know what happened. If I was in the position of this father,
what's up, Quantum
mother, sibling,
Quantum Epic
friend, I would want a lot of grace right now and a lot of support. And that's
Yeti, I was watching this guy. He was doing a test on how quickly and how long he could stay in a hot car in the summer. He said, like, even with the windows cracked, it's still got above 125 in that car.
What I would ask of our community, we have a great community. I would ask just for support right now. We have time to sort out the facts of this case, and we will do what is right. But we...
Bat mom. So they're basically saying their cell phone's more important than their child. Because you forget your cell phone, oh my God, the world's gonna end. You forgot your child? You know, my bad.
We don't know right now whether or not criminal charges are warranted or whether or not outrage is warranted, but we do know that support is warranted. The only other message which we will convey at some point today is the details that we can release today, and obviously for people to really, really, really be careful in this heat. This is one example of some things that can go wrong, but there are others. So we just ask people to be cognizant of that and be careful. That really concludes my statement. I will turn this over to Sergeant Smith. I will not be taking questions, and Sergeant Smith will give you guys what we have, okay? Thank y'all for
You
coming.
know,
We appreciate
Jeff, you're allowed to bust that window open, right? Because are there cops really gonna be like, oh yeah, you want to press charges for him busting the window? Bitch, you're going to jail in the first place. Busting windows, as long as you have the proper tools and know where to hit, it's actually pretty easy to get them out.
Appreciate you.
What up, Wog?
Good morning.
Guys, stay in that grind,
My name
right?
is Sergeant Eric Smith.
Grinding.
I'm assigned to the Public Information Office for the Cobb County Police Department. On yesterday, July 2nd, at approximately 5:36 p.m., Cobb County Police uniformed patrol officers responded to the address of 884 Wanda Circle, located in Marietta, Georgia, which is an address in unincorporated Cobb County.
Oh, shit. It's been hot as fuck in Georgia, too.
The call was in reference to a child who was found unresponsive in a vehicle. Officers arrived along with Cobb County Fire and EMS, and the 2-year-old child was transported by ambulance to Kennestone Hospital, where he was unfortunately pronounced deceased. The Cobb County Crimes Against Persons Unit was notified and began the investigation. The investigation into this tragic incident remains active. At this time, there is no evidence to suggest that the child was left inside the vehicle. No criminal charges have been filed at this time.
Did I hear that right?
At this time, there is no evidence to suggest that the child was left inside the vehicle.
So how did the child get inside the vehicle? So the child was dead already? Did the child magically appear out of thin air? Where'd the baby come from? Maybe I just misheard him. I don't know.
No criminal
What's up,
charges have been filed at this time. The next of kin was notified, and the Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office assumed jurisdiction of the deceased. This incident remains under investigation. Anyone with information is requested to call the Cobb County Police Department's Crimes Against Person Unit at 770-499-3945. The case number assigned to this incident is 240-44573. At this time, I will open the floor for questions, but keep in mind this is in the very early stages of this investigation, so there is some information we simply do not have.
So it wasn't the heat.
Sergeant, can you talk about
yes, ma'am.
Just the demeanor of the parents, how they're doing, how the family is doing?
As a parent, I can certainly sympathize that I'm sure they're very upset and distraught, but I have not had an opportunity to meet with them, so I don't have an exact answer for that question. Yes, ma'am.
Smith, do you know how long the toddler was in the car and how hot it was?
We do not know how long the child was in the car. As far as the temperature, it was, again, about 5 o'clock yesterday, which is still very hot. So
that's
it was
like
well in
2 hours
excess of
off the
90
hottest part of
degrees
the day.
ambient temperature. I cannot comment as to what the temperature inside the vehicle would have been.
Did the little boy live in that home, or were he and his family visiting that home?
I do not have an answer to that, but I can.
Not even at the store. Not at a store. In a house. Someone's home. This is getting more and more interesting. Because now it sounds like the kid died of the heat. I'm going to have to look over this one later. Again.
Check into it and possibly follow up.
Detectives on the scene yesterday said that they believed it was that the toddler had been in there for a couple
I totally thought this was a different story.
Would you say more than an hour?
I do not have that information. We can find that out and try to follow up.
Do you know if the child was with a parent, a family member in the car was driving it, or?
The car was parked at the time, from what I understand.
Who was the driver?
I do not have that information.
So maybe the owner of the vehicle?
Do not have that information. But again, the report, the case number was given earlier. So at this time, that concludes questions, and thank you all for coming out.
In a world where young adults care more about their ESG, how they look on social media, more than anything else, kids are now used as props. Why do I say that? Remember a couple years ago when everybody was coming out saying, I'm proud that my kid's a member of the LGBT community. I'm proud that my kid's trans. Bruh, your kid's too. How the fuck do you know your kid's trans at 2? Hell, they don't even know they're trans until you tell them. Kids don't mean the same thing to today's society as they did in previous societies. Kids were an important part of growing society, as long as they had the proper guidance and motivation. It's almost like lack of responsibility, and it starts with the parents. It doesn't start with me, because I make my kids own their mistakes. Oh, I'm grown. I'm 18 years old. All right, get the fuck out of the house. 3 months later, came back. Now that we're done with that stuff, because we can go on that all day. Obviously, a lot of my shows revolve around that, but it's not really what I'm here for. What I'm here for is to show you that all of this is accepted, especially by rich, the elites, and the politicians. But we do have a presidential election coming up, and we have 2 old guys, 78 and 80, or 82. We need some young blood. But for now, we have those 2. I saw something show up in my timeline last night, and I was like, you know what? Now I am going to do the Biden interview, because this video I'm about to show you, if this dude's not running for vice president, as the vice presidential nominee, I don't know what to tell you, because this video makes me want to vote for him as the president. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, before we get to the Biden interview, I want to introduce you again to Vivek Ramaswamy. Oh, I didn't forget about him. Promise ya. Oh, that's wrong.
When our nation was born in 1776, we were a nation of insurgents. Our founding fathers stood up to
like that. I'm an insurgent.
We were a nation of insurgents. Our founding fathers stood up to the most powerful empire in the world, declared their independence, and then somehow turned assertion into reality. They were a band of rebels who defeated the reigning incumbent of their era. But eventually, the insurgent becomes the incumbent. The underdog becomes the favorite. And the new incumbent starts to apologize for its own success instead of working even harder to create even more of it. And eventually, that incumbent gets unseated by a new insurgent on the other side of a different ocean. It's happening today. Personally, I think that's what many of us sensed when we rallied behind the cry to make America great again several years ago. But here's what we missed. In order to know the story of how we make America great again, we have to first remember the story of what made America great the first time around. That is the story of our nation's history. It's a story we've utterly forgotten. It's the death of intellectual curiosity in America. The thing that really distinguished our founding fathers was their ability to combine those intellectual foundations with a vision for the future that didn't exist in the old world. There was something in the water back then, something in the culture. It was a culture that valued education. It valued autodidacts, people who could teach themselves. It valued a fundamental curiosity about how the world works, a desire to explore it, and an unyielding confidence that even if you weren't an expert in something, you could still figure it out with the right combination of self-education and curiosity. That's what distinguished our country, because compared to nations like France and England, it's true that America was actually really provincial at that time. We were nothing more than a backwater cluster of a bunch of small towns scattered along an eastern seaboard. Economically, militarily, geopolitically, we were destined to be nothing more than a footnote in global history. But the people who those footnotes would have been written about, they were actually deeply curious about the world they inhabited, about the history to which they contributed. And they were deeply confident in their ability to change every part of it for the better. And that's exactly what they did. So what's the message for us today? I think we need to revive that special combination of curiosity and confidence. I think we want to be a country of people who, yes, tinker in their garages, who, yes, write a long essay in the evening after working at an insurance company during the day. We should expect more of one another as citizens. We should expect more of ourselves as citizens. We should expect more of our leaders as citizens. Back then, the presidents who left the White House went on to become scholars of Sanskrit. Today, they sign Netflix deals and go play around at golf. It's easy to say, how cool were our founding fathers, and then go back to the daily drudgery of our modern technocracy. But I ask the question of why we can't, too, be a little bit more like our founding fathers. We're political conservatives. We talk a lot about staying true to the political and legal principles of the Constitution, and there's no doubt that's important. But I also think we should be inspired to stay true to the founding culture, that founding culture of exploration, of irreverence, of curiosity. That special sauce that allowed America to succeed was our founding fathers' unique brew of curiosity combined with confidence. And it wasn't just a matter of self-indulgence. It was because they wanted to build a world around them that was better than the one they found. It wasn't just to get drunk on their own.
It's funny that they say that. To build a better world around them. What I've always said, especially in my military career, I'm training soldiers to not only replace me, but I'm training them to want to be better than me. Just like with society. I mean, I live my life the way I do, and some people agree with it, some people don't. I really don't fucking care. But what I have done is I've produced effective leaders outside, in the military as well as outside of the military, because people still get out, people come to me for advice, and sometimes I give it to them, sometimes I don't. I'll start probably not giving as much anymore because it always ends up not. That's not how it's always been good advice, but people don't listen, so that's it. And my kids, obviously they learn, and the person they learn from the first is the parents. So hopefully what I've done for them will make them more productive than I have been. They probably won't serve in the military because I'm not going to allow that.
Around them that was better than the one they found. It wasn't just to get drunk on their own curiosity. It's because they strived to make America, their nation, a better nation. It was a desire to create a thriving nation that would outlive them, and thrive that nation did. They made our nation a magnet for minds just like them, that were just as curious and just as courageous as themselves. And it's precisely at this moment in our history when we stopped being insurgents and started becoming incumbents that we ourselves lost that sense of curiosity, that we lost that sense of confidence. And if we don't change course, Pretty soon, we're going to become that incumbent that gets unseated by another backwater nation on the other side of a different ocean. The way for us to remain a magnet for those curious people, for those ambitious people around the world, is by cultivating the culture that drew Joseph Priestley here, the same culture that drew my own parents here. A culture that prizes free and open debate and speech and inquiry. A culture that doesn't force a monolithic dogma upon everyone. A culture that doesn't force you to bow down to what a politically appointed expert says on a given day, but instead gives you the latitude to question dogmas in the pursuit of truth. You see, that's the greatest thing our founding fathers actually invented. It wasn't a lightning rod. It wasn't a stove. It was a country that offered its citizens freedom of thought. The greatest invention that produced so many others that followed. That's the invention we risk losing in a country that focuses on suppressing dissent instead of fostering creativity. Can we sustain that special combination of curiosity and confidence? I think that is the defining question for our era. It's what we're going to need to revive in our culture if we're going to remain a nation of insurgents rather than a nation of incumbents.
Oh, what the fuck? If that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what fucking does. That patriotism just, oh man. Ooh. I love it. I love seeing that. I love hearing people talk like that. But what I would like to see more of is people doing it. It doesn't hurt you. I guess I'll continue to be an insurgent. You got that? Feds. Federales. Jeff's buddies, right, Jeff? But now that the patriotism is exuding from me, now watch me be upset because our government is full of fucking ass clowns. All run by a puppet man. Oh, well, we'll talk to the puppet because obviously we don't want you to know who the real person running the country is. And I'm starting to think recently that it's the other Bidens. That would make total sense, wouldn't it? So they stay in power. They're doing elder abuse.
He said
Good evening, everyone, on this momentous evening. I'm Juju Chang. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Tonight, ABC News has an exclusive interview with President Joe Biden. Our George Stephanopoulos.
Why is it momentous? So nobody's ever had an exclusive interview with Joe Biden? Holy shit.
Sat down with the president for his first televised interview since that poor debate performance against Donald Trump. President Biden says he is committed to staying in the race and confident that he will prevail and beat Donald Trump. The president was directly called on to answer for his faltering appearances and whether he still has the mental and physical fitness for another term in the White House. Our team is standing by, of course, for analysis, but first, let's get to the interview.
Mr. President, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with the debate. You and your team have said you had a bad night, but your friend Nancy Pelosi actually framed the question that I think is on the minds of millions of Americans. Was this a bad episode or the sign of a more serious condition?
It's a bad episode. No indication of any serious condition. I was exhausted. I didn't listen to my instincts in terms of preparing, and I had a bad night.
You know, you say you were exhausted, and I know you've said that before as well, but you came, and you did have a tough month, but you came home from Europe about 11 or 12 days before the debate, spent 6 days in Camp David. Why wasn't that enough rest time, enough recovery time?
Because I was sick. I was feeling terrible. Matter of fact, the docs with me, I asked them, they did a COVID test because they were trying to figure out what was wrong. They did a test to see whether or not I had some infection, a virus. I didn't. They just had a really bad cold.
Oh, okay.
And did you ever watch the debate afterwards?
I don't think I did, no.
Well, what I want to get at is what were you experiencing as you were going through the debate? Did you know how badly it was going?
Yeah, look, the whole way I prepared, nobody's fault mine. Nobody's fault but mine. I prepared what I usually would do, sitting down, as I did come back with foreign leaders or the National Security Council, for explicit detail. And I realized about partway through that, I get quoted, the New York Times had me down at 10 points before the debate, 9 now, or whatever the hell it is. The fact of the matter is that what I looked at is that he also lied 28 times. The way the debate ran, not my fault, nobody else's fault.
So the way a debate should work, right? If your opponent is saying something and he think he's lying about it, you talk about it. You bring it up. Did that happen? No. Then it's not a debate. I just had myself that last one.
But it seemed like you were having trouble from the first question in, even before he spoke.
Well, I just had a bad night. You've had some bad interviews once in a while. I can't remember any, but I'm sure you do.
I've had plenty. I guess the question, the problem is here for a lot of Americans watching is you've said, going back to 2020, watch me, to people who are concerned about your age. And, 50 million Americans watched that debate. It seemed to confirm fears they already had.
Well, look, after that debate, I did 10 major events.
Well, listen, Jack, I got 81 million votes. The other guy had 70-something million votes. Two very high numbers. 51 million? Listen, Jack, I got 81 million.
In a row, including till 2 o'clock in the morning after that debate. I did events in North Carolina. I did events in Georgia. Did events like this today. Large crowds, overwhelming response, no slipping. And so I just had a bad night. I don't know why.
And how quickly did it come to you that you were having that bad night?
Well, it came to me as having a bad night when I realized that even when I was answering a question, even though they turned his mic off, he was still shouting. And I let it distract me. I'm not blaming it on that. But I realized that I just wasn't in control.
But part of the other concern is that this seems to have fit into a pattern of decline that has been reported on recently. New York Times had a headline on July 2nd, Biden's lapses are said to be increasingly common and worrisome. Here's what they wrote. People who have spent time with President Biden over the last few months or so said the lapses appear to have grown more frequent, more pronounced, and after Thursday's debate, more worrisome.
This is weird. I've been talking about how parents know and they don't seem to care and they're allowing things to continue to get worse and worse until eventually something fucking bad happens. They're doing it to this old man right now.
By many accounts, as evidenced by video footage, observation, and interviews, Mr. Biden is not the same today as he was even when he took office 3.5 years ago. Similar reporting in the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal. Are you the same man today that you were when you took office 3.5 years ago?
In terms of successes, yes. I also was the guy who put together a peace plan for the Middle East that may be coming to fruition. I was also the guy that expanded NATO.
What's your peace plan in the Middle East? Because I'm pretty sure what you're planning isn't working like the Abraham Accords did.
For the Middle East that may be coming to fruition. I was also the guy that expanded NATO. I was also the guy that grew the economy. All the individual things.
Expanding NATO was totally against a agreement they had between NATO and Russia not to expand further east. Way to go, stupid.
We're done. Were ideas I had or I fulfilled, I moved on. And so, for example, well, that was true then. What's Biden done lately? Today, just announced 200,000 new jobs. We're moving in a direction that no one's ever taken on. I know you know this from the days in the government. I took on Big Pharma. I beat them. No one said I could beat them. I took on...
By creating a new pharmaceutical company, which went from nothing to #1 in the country. Just happens to make a majority of the med prices that you lowered.
All the things we said we got done, we were told we couldn't get done. And part of it is what I said when I ran was I wanted to do 3 things. Restore some decency to the office, restore some support for the middle class instead of trickle-down economics, built from the middle out and the bottom up, the way the wealthy still...
Yo, he said he restore support from the middle class. Compared to 4 years ago, the middle class is now poverty. I don't know.
To find everyone does better and unite the country.
But what has all that work over the last 3.5 years cost you physically, mentally, emotionally?
Well, I just think it cost me a really bad night, a bad run. But, George, I'm optimistic about this country. I don't think we're a country of losers, that he points out. I don't think America's in tough shape. I think America's on the cusp of breaking through in so many incredible opportunities. This next term, I'm going to...
He means we're on the cusp of breaking through to socialism.
Make sure we have straighten out the tax system. I'm going to make sure we're in a situation where we have health care for all people, where we're in a position where we have
Sorry, I'm going to keep pausing this. But healthcare for all people. Joe, does that include the healthcare you're giving to illegal aliens over American citizens? That's an interesting concept.
Healthcare for all people, where we're in a position where we have child care and elder care, free up, and all these things. The one thing I'm proudest of is, remember when my economic plan was put forward, a lot of the mainstream...
Child care, would that be the government-run funded child care? Where could that go wrong? Start them young, right?
Economists said it's not going to work. Well, guess what? They now have 16 Nobel laureates, 16 of them in economics, saying that Biden's next term would be, based on what he wants to do, enormous success.
Joe, I want the name of these 16 Nobel Prize laureates because they should totally give up their Nobel Prize. But wasn't it 21 like 3 years ago?
Trump's plan would cause a recession, would significantly increase inflation. I've made great progress, and that's what I plan on doing.
What? Trump's plan is going to create a recession. Okay. And it will increase inflation. Got it. No matter which, according to this guy, no matter who gets elected, we're still going to be poor. But, at least if he's in charge, you'll like it, or you'll be thrown in the gulag.
And we can do this.
I understand that, and I'm not disputing that. What I'm asking you is about your personal situation. Do you dispute that there have been more lapses, especially in the last several months?
Can I run the 110 flat? No, but I'm still in good shape.
Are you more frail?
No.
Really?
I know you spoke.
Keep my schedule.
I know you spoke with your doctor after the debate. What did he say?
He said, he just looked at me and said, "You're exhausted." I said, "Look, I have medical doctors travel me everywhere, every president does, as you know. Medical doctors, some of the best in the world, travel me everywhere I go. I have an ongoing assessment of what I'm doing. They don't hesitate to tell me if they think there's something wrong.
I know you said you have an ongoing assessment. Have you had a full neurological and cognitive evaluation?
I get a full neurological test every day with me. And I've had a full physical. I had, I've been at Walter Reed for my physicals. Yes, the answer is
I know your doctor
I've
said.
been to Walter Reed for my physicals. Well, you just said you had a physical. Are you good? Are you good, Joe? What about the cognitive test? He gets a neuro exam every day, which neuro exams are pretty fucking easy. It takes about 35 seconds.
Be consulted with a neurologist. I guess I'm asking a slightly different question. Have you had the specific cognitive tests, and have you had a neurologist, a specialist, do an examination?
no one said I had to. No one said, they said I'm good.
Would you be willing to undergo an independent medical evaluation that included neurological and cognitive tests and release the results to the American people?
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day. Every day I have it.
Here's how it works. Good morning. Hey. Do you know what your name is today? Joe Biden. I am Joe Biden. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That's a good test. Do you know what today is? Saturday. You're learning. Good, 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 good. How old are you? Well, old. Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Do you know what you're doing? I'm running for Senate. No, Joe. No. You're close. I'm running for the House. No, stupid. Not that specific. I'm vice president. No, you fucking retard. You're the goddamn president. Oh, I'm the president? Yes, Joe. I guess you're good to go.
Test. Everything I do. Not only am I campaigning, but I'm running the world. And that's not how it sounds like hyperbole. But we are the essential nation in the world. Madeleine Albright was right. And every single day, for example, today, before I come out here, I'm on the phone with the Prime Minister of, anyway, I shouldn't get into detail, but with Netanyahu. I'm on the phone with the new Prime Minister of England. I'm working on what we're doing with regard to in Europe with regard to expansion of NATO and whether it's going to stick. I'm taking on Putin. Every day, there's no day I go through that are not those decisions I have to make every single day.
And you have been doing that, and the American people have been watching, yet their concerns about your age and your health are growing. So that's why I'm asking, to reassure them, would you be willing to have the independent medical evaluation?
Watch me there's a lot of time left in this campaign. It's over 125 days.
So
the answer, decision.
The right answer right now is no, you don't want to do that right now.
I've already done it.
Where's the result?
You talked a lot about your successes at the beginning of this interview, and I don't want to dispute that. I don't want to debate that. But as you know, elections are about the future, not the past. They're about tomorrow, not yesterday. And the question on so many people's minds right now is, can you serve effectively for the next 4 years?
George, I'm the guy that put NATO together, the future. No one thought I could expand it.
Guys, holy shit. We learned something new today. This motherfucker put NATO together. Fucking Joe Biden put NATO together. Wow.
The guy that shut Putin down. No one thought could happen. I'm the guy that put together the South Pacific Initiative with AUKUS. I'm the guy that got 50 nations, out, not only in Europe, outside of Europe as well, to help Ukraine. I'm the guy that got Japanese to expand their budget. For example, when I decided we used to have 40% of the computer chip in it, we invented the chip, that little chip, the computer chip.
Yeah.
It's in everything from cell
We
phone.
invented the chip. We invented the computer chip. Joe, just step aside, man. Come on.
weapons. And so we used to have 40%. We're down to virtually nothing. So I get in the plane against the advice of everybody, and I fly to South Korea. I convinced them to invest in the United States billions of dollars. Now we have tens of billions of dollars being invested in the United States, making us back in a position where we're going to own that industry again. We have, I mean, I just, anyway, I don't want to take too much credit. I have a great staff.
But I guess my point is all that takes a toll. Do you have the mental and physical capacity to do it for another 4 years?
I believe so. I wouldn't be running if I didn't think I did. Look, I'm running again because I think I understand best what has to be done to take this nation to a completely new level. We're on our way. We're on our way. And look, the decision recently made by the Supreme Court on immunity, you know, the next president of the United States, it's not just about whether he or she knows what they're doing. It's not about a conglomerate of people making decisions. It's about the character of the president. The character of the president is going to determine whether or not this Constitution is employed.
The character of the president, the racist, the women abuser, the child hair sniffer. Wait, are we talking about both of them? Wait, the character. Joe Biden is well-mannered. He's altogether a good person. Yes. How does it make him? How is he a good person? Because I said so. I mean, Joe Biden is a great person. I mean, look what he's done for this country. We have record unemployment. We have record black unemployment. For those black jobs. We have record lows in inflation. We have gas prices are 70 cents cheaper than they were last year. We're already doing great. Prices may go up just for a little bit, guys, but I promise you they'll come right back down.
The right way.
And we should note that ABC News offered Donald Trump the same opportunity for a one-on-one interview, and he declined. We'll have more of George Stephanopoulos' exclusive interview with President Biden in just 60 seconds. Stay with us.
Oh, we offered the same opportunity to President Trump, but he declined. No shit. I guarantee you it would be 180 degrees from what this one is.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation seen of eyes.
Wherever the
ABC
is a price to
Secret Hulu. Stephanopoulos' exclusive interview with President Joe Biden.
Let me ask you a tougher, more personal question. Are you sure you're being honest with yourself when you say you have the mental and physical capacity to serve another 4 years?
Yes, I am, because, George, the last thing I want to do is not be able to meet that. I think, as some of the senior economists and senior foreign policy specialists say, if I stop now, I'd go down in history as a pretty successful president. No one thought I could get done what we got done.
No one's saying.
But are you being honest with yourself as well about your ability to defeat Donald Trump right now?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
You say that, and let me challenge you. Sure. Because you were close, but behind going into the debate. You're further behind now by any measure. It's been a two-man race for several months. Inflation has come down. In those last few months, he's become a convicted felon, yet you're still falling further behind.
You guys keep saying that. George, you know polling better than anybody. Do you think polling data is accurate as it used to be?
I don't think so, but I think when you look at all of the polling data right now, it shows that he's certainly ahead in the popular vote, probably even more ahead in the battleground states. And one of the other key factors is it shows that in many of the battleground states, the Democrats who are running for Senate and the House are doing better than you are.
Well, that's not unusual in some states. I carried an awful lot of Democrats last time I ran in 2020. Look, I remember them telling me the same thing in 2020. I can't win. The polls show I can't win. Remember 2020, the red wave was coming. Before the vote, I said that's not going to happen. We're going to win. We did better in an off year than almost any incumbent president ever has done. They said in 2023, all the tough races, we're not going to win. I went into all those areas, all those districts, and we won.
All that is true, but 2020 was a close race. And your approval rating has dropped significantly since then. I think the last poll I saw was at about 36%. The number of Americans who think you're too old to serve has doubled since 2020. Wouldn't a clear-eyed political calculus tell you that it's going to be much tougher to win in 2024?
Not when you're running against a pathological liar. Not when he hadn't been challenged in a way.
You've got a pathological liar running against a pathological liar. Does that even out? Let's do a policy then. Let's go policy for policy.
He's about to be challenged. Not when people...
You've had months to challenge him.
Oh, I sure had months, but I was also doing a hell of a lot of other things, like wars around the world, like keeping NATO together, like working... Anyway, but look...
Do you really believe you're not behind right now?
I think it's all the pollsters I talk to tell me it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. And when I'm behind, there's only one poll I'm really far behind, CBS poll and NBC, and
New York Times and NBC both have you about 6 points behind in the popular vote.
That's exactly right. New York Times had me behind before anything happened to do with this race. Had me behind 10 points. 10 points.
New York Times is pretty liberal. They were like literally firing conservative journalists.
Nothing's changed substantially in the New York Times poll.
Just when you look at the reality, though, Mr.
There you go.
President,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
glad someone remembers.
You won the popular vote in 2020, but it was still deadly close in the Electoral
By
College.
7 million votes.
Yes, but you're behind now in the popular vote.
I don't buy that.
Why not?
Is it worth the risk?
I don't think anybody's more qualified to be president or win this race than me.
You know, the heart of your case against Donald Trump is that he's only out for himself, putting his personal interest ahead of the national interest. How do you respond to critics who say that by staying in the race, you're doing the same thing?
Oh, come on. Well, I don't think those critics know what they're talking about.
They're just wrong?
It's wrong. Look, Trump is a pathological liar. Trump is, he is... Have you ever seen anything Trump did that benefited somebody else, not him?
Yeah.
You can't answer, I know.
Actually, yeah.
I questioned him and his
I have. Small business owners. That had nothing to do with him getting more money. It's about boosting the economy. He gave money to HBCUs that had been given before. And by the way, you tried to block a lot of them and then gave some more money back. Like, oh, look what I did. Bitch, you canceled Trump policies. And then make them to become like they're yours, like months later. Get the fuck out of here.
As persistently as any journalist has.
No, I know you have. I'm not being critical.
Yeah.
I'm not being critical. But look, I mean, the man is a congenital liar. As I said, they pointed out in that debate he lied 27, 28 times the times, or whatever number, over 20 times. Talk about how good his economy was, how he brought down inflation, how this is a guy who, unlike only other president other than him is Hoover, lost more jobs than he created. This is a guy who told us to put bleach in our arms to deal with COVID, with over a million people died. This is a guy who talks about wanting to get rid of the healthcare provisions we put in place. This is a guy who wants to give the power back to big pharma to be able to charge exorbitant prices for drugs. This is a guy who wants to undo every single thing I've done. Every single thing.
I understand that. I understand that's why you want to stay in the race, but if you can...
Not to make him a hypocrite or his administration, but it's exactly what they did in 2021. Come on, man. Come on, man. Bro. Just like the drama community, it's one vicious fucking circle. fucking ridiculous. And to think, we're going to do this again in 2028. You're probably going to have, I don't know, what's that dude? Not Newsom. Well, maybe Newsom, but Hakeem Jeffries. Or Cori Bush. Gotta elect Cori Bush because she has the woke Infinity Stones.
Convinced yourself that only you can defeat him?
I convinced myself of two things. I'm the most qualified person to beat him, and I know how to get things done.
If you can be convinced that you cannot defeat Donald Trump, will you stand down?
It depends if the Lord Almighty comes out and tells me that, I might do that.
Well, I mean, on a more practical level, the Washington Post just reported in the last hour that Senator Mark Warner is assembling a group of senators together to try and convince you to stand down because they don't think you can win.
Well, Mark is a good man. We've never had that. He also tried to get the nomination too. Mark and I have a different perspective. I respect him.
And if Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi come down and say, we're worried that if you stay in the race, we're going to lose the House and the Senate, how will you respond?
I go into detail with them. I've spoken to all of them in detail,
I'm pretty sure
including Jim Clyburn. Every one of them. They all said I should stay in the race. Stay in the race. No one said, none of the people said I should leave.
But if they do?
Well, it's like, they're not going to do that.
You sure?
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Look, I mean, if the Lord Almighty came down and said, Joe, get out of the race, I get out of the race, the Lord Almighty's not coming down. I mean, these hypotheticals, George.
But it's not that hypothetical anymore. I grant that they have not requested the meeting, but it's been reported.
I've met with them. I've met with a lot of these people. I've talked with them regularly. I had an hour conversation with Hakeem. I had more time than that with Jim Clyburn. I spent time with many hours off and on the last little bit with Chuck Schumer. It's not like I had all the governors. I
agree that the Lord Almighty is not going to come down, but if you are told reliably from your allies, from your friends and supporters in the Democratic Party, in the House and the Senate, that they're concerned you're going to lose the House and the Senate if you stay in, what will you do?
I'm not going to answer that question. It's not going to happen.
What's your plan to turn the campaign around?
You saw it today.
What?
How many people do you draw crowds like I drew today?
A lot.
You find me any more enthusiastic than today? Huh?
I mean, I don't think you want to play the crowd game. Donald Trump can draw big crowds. There's no question about that.
He can draw a big crowd, but what does he say? Who does he have? I'm the guy supposedly in trouble.
Who's he have? Trying to say that Donald Trump doesn't have any famous people at his rallies? He doesn't invite movie stars and Jay-Z and all them? You're right. He doesn't. His rallies are bigger because they're everyday American people.
$38 million within 4 days after this. We have over 1 million individual contributors.
He made 24 overnight.
Less than $200. I've not seen what you're proposing.
You haven't seen the fall off in the polls. You haven't seen the reports of discontent in the Democratic Party, House Democrats, Senate Democrats.
I've seen it from the press.
So much to analyze. And so for more insight on this interview, we're joined now by contributing political correspondent Rachel Bade, who's also author of the Politico Playbook. Rachel, thanks for joining us.
I would be here.
I know that every source you have in Washington is going through the tea.
I don't know, guys. I'll vote for Joe. No, I'm not. I know I've said Joe will probably get the nomination, which he did. But I also said Joe probably won't make it there. Which more and more believes I think that he won't. 6 months till the election. Are they going to swap him out? Probably. There's a high probability of happening, and it'll be more like a coup by the Democratic Party, considering the DNC's next month. No matter who they throw into it, because then by the time they have the DNC, August, September, November, 2 months. You have 2 months to throw in a new candidate. Who are you going to throw in? They want Harris, because why wouldn't you vote for Harris? She's got 2 woke Infinity Stones. 3 woke Infinity Stones. Yeah. She's a woman. She's black. She's Asian. By black, I mean Jamaican. And by Indian, I mean push button. You look around America, this election looks like it's going to be a slam dunk for one candidate. It's more than likely just going to be a fucking landslide. But then you see that they're trying to push bullshit that people are like, oh, if Trump gets reelected, he's gonna do Project 2025. Because they keep saying it. The media keeps saying it. Donald Trump even came out and said, oh, I don't support Project 2025. And you know what? It's made by the Heritage Foundation. That's their vision of like a conservative utopia. What they really need to look into is Agenda 47. Agenda 47 is the actual plan. Maybe it's changed, maybe it hasn't. Yeah, I was going to bring up the donation one, but I think that would have been over people's heads. Not saying that people wouldn't understand it, but it's something that a lot of people don't know. It's all right, Phoenix. If he gets out of hand, just punch him in the throat. I hear it'll make him go to sleep. Quick. But anyway, we guys know we have 3 candidates running in this next election. And I still highly recommend you look into 3 of them. Make your own decision. Because that's real democracy. Just kidding. It's the constitutional republic. Because I'm not telling y'all how to think. I'm just telling you to think. But my money right now, as much as I've hated that man since 2015, my money's on this. What the fuck? That guy. But really hinges on what really will solidify it if he would finally tell us who his vice presidential nominee is going to be. That video I showed you from Vivek, no other candidate is making fucking videos like that. That's my man. Y'all have a good day. Good rest of the weekend. And